Okay, so let's just jump right in. You know that feeling when you like check your investment accounts these days
Yeah.
and your stomach just kind of tightens up
Oh, yeah. Definitely know that
with
feeling.
the market doing its usual unpredictable thing. That unease is pretty common right now.
A lot of people are feeling it. Absolutely. It's a shared experience.
Yeah, it's hard not to feel a bit, out of control when the economic picture looks like this.
That's very relatable. So much feels beyond our individual grasp.
Exactly. But here's the thing. While we can't, dictate what the stock market does tomorrow,
Right. Wish we could, but no.
yeah. But there's a really powerful step we can take to feel more secure. And that's what we're really digging into today.
Right.
Forget trying to time the market or anything like that. Our focus is why estate planning? Well, why isn't just a good idea during a recession? It's arguably even more important now.
More vital, yeah.
Think of it like the foundation, the bedrock for your financial well-being when other things feel a bit shaky.
That's a good way to put it.
And our guide for this deep dive is a really timely article. It's called Estate Planning During a Recession. It's from Vick Law, PC, and it was published, well, today actually, April 9th, 2025.
Oh, wow. So very current. Addresses exactly what's happening.
Spot on. And that's a key point, isn't it? When things feel uncertain, economically speaking, it's tempting to just, put things on the back burner, things that don't feel super urgent.
Like estate planning, maybe. Seems like something you can delay.
Right? But as that Vick Law article points out, that instinct, it might actually be the exact opposite of what you should be doing right now.
Interesting. So doing nothing is potentially riskier?
That seems to be the argument. This isn't some, dry legal discussion. This is really about finding ways to feel more in control when other things feel so out of control.
Control is a big theme here, then.
Absolutely. So our mission for this deep dive is to understand precisely why. Why is this moment with this economy so critical for either, finally setting up an estate plan or giving your existing one a really good look, a refresh?
Okay. And we're using the Vick Law piece as the main source for that understanding.
Yep, pulling insights directly from there. Now, what's kind of fascinating is when money feels tight, right?
Yeah.
Our first thought might be, okay, cut back, cut expenses. And that might include things like, legal fees for estate planning.
That's a natural reaction, definitely. Let's wait until things stabilize before spending on documents.
Exactly that thought. But the Vick Law article, it kind of flips that idea on its head.
How so?
It argues for being more strategic. The phrase they seem to imply is, plan smarter, don't just pause planning altogether.
Plan smarter, not pause. Okay, I like that.
So the big question then is, how does having an estate plan actually give you that smarter stability, especially when the economic ground feels, uneven?
Well, at its core, estate planning is really about you. You maintaining authority over the things that matter most, right? Your assets, your healthcare choices, the security of your family. And that authority holds regardless of what the wider economy is up to.
Okay, so it's about personal control despite external factors.
Exactly. The legal tools involved, things like wills, powers of attorney.
Healthcare directives, trusts.
Yep, all of those. These are instruments you proactively put in place to make sure your wishes are the ones that get followed, no matter what.
Let's break those down a bit, starting with the big one, wills. We all sort of know what a will does generally.
Yeah.
But what's the key insight here? Why is it especially crucial when we're navigating, say, a recession?
Well, in a recession, asset values can really shift, sometimes quite a lot.
Yeah, dramatically even.
Precisely. So a really clearly written will, it becomes even more important then, because it directs exactly how those assets should be handled, whatever they happen to be worth at that specific moment, according to your intentions.
Regardless of the fluctuating value.
Right. And importantly, this can help prevent, potential arguments, disputes among beneficiaries, which could happen over a maybe smaller or just different-looking estate than anticipated.
Which is just adding stress during an already tough time losing someone.
Absolutely. The last thing anyone needs. So it's about making your wishes crystal clear no matter the economic ups and downs.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Clarity avoids headaches for loved ones. Got it. Now, what about powers of attorney and healthcare directives? Sometimes these feel like things you'll tackle someday. Down the road.
Yeah, the someday documents.
Why the urgency now?
Yeah.
With all this economic uncertainty swirling around.
Well, think about it this way. Times of stress, economic or otherwise, can sometimes bring unexpected events, health issues, accidents.
Right.
If you were to become incapacitated, unable to manage your own finances or health decisions, a power of attorney lets someone you trust step in, handle bills,
Mm.
manage accounts.
Okay, and the healthcare directive.
Same principle, but for medical decisions. It designates someone to speak for you if you can't. In a recession, maybe a financial mistake made by someone guessing what you'd want, or a delay in healthcare decisions, those could have bigger, uh, more serious consequences.
So these documents become critical safeguards for your well-being and your family's financial stability.
Exactly. It's about having a trusted person ready to act in your best interest immediately, if needed. No guesswork.
So it's not just about end-of-life planning then. It's about protection during any unforeseen health crisis, which feels especially important when the economy's already shaky.
That's a key takeaway. Protection during life's unexpected turns.
Now, the Vick Law article also mentions trusts. These can sometimes feel, I don't know, a bit more complex,
It can
maybe.
seem that way, yeah.
What's the main advantage of looking into a trust, especially thinking about this recessionary context?
So trusts offer several potential benefits that become particularly relevant now. For instance, certain types of trusts can add a layer of protection for your assets
Protection from what?
from things like potential creditors or maybe even legal challenges, things that might actually increase during economic downturns.
Okay, interesting. Asset protection.
Right. Plus, they can be set up to help minimize estate taxes, and they can also play a really important role in long-term care planning.
How so?
Well, in helping protect assets, like your home maybe, if you or a loved one eventually needs Medicaid assistance for nursing home care.
The Medicaid planning aspect. That's huge for many families.
It really is. So if your net worth has maybe taken a hit, or if you're worried more now about aging parents and their finances, a trust can provide a more robust way to manage and preserve those assets.
So it's basically a legal structure you create
Yeah.
to hold assets for beneficiaries.
That's a good, simple definition, yes. Offering potential benefits like that protection and control we talk about.
Okay, so while the stock market's daily jumps and drops grab the headlines,
Mhm.
a well-designed estate plan, maybe including a trust, is really about long-term security, long-term control, things that a volatile market frankly can't really touch.
Precisely. And the Vick Law article really emphasizes this point. A solid estate plan isn't or shouldn't be tied just to market performance. It needs to be rooted in your intentions, your values, your wishes for your family.
Right, the value of the estate might go up or down,
Yeah, it fluctuates.
but what you actually want to happen with it, how you want people cared for, that likely stays the same.
Exactly. Those core desires usually remain constant.
That's actually a really powerful way to look at it. It shifts the focus, doesn't it?
It does.
From the anxiety about the market, which you can't control, to the proactive steps you can take, which feels much better.
Definitely more empowering.
Now, you mentioned earlier, and the article stresses this too, that a recession is a critical time to review and update an existing plan.
Mm.
Why is that review so important right now?
Well, just think about it for a second. A recession can trigger pretty significant changes in your financial world, right?
Sure, your net worth could be quite different.
Exactly. If your assets have changed substantially up or down due to the market, your current estate plan might not work the way you originally intended. It might not provide the security you thought it did.
Or maybe distribute things in a way that doesn't make sense anymore.
Correct. Or, similarly, maybe your life circumstances have changed. Maybe you are more concerned now about aging parents financially, or other big life events happen, marriage, divorce, kids, grandkids.
Right. Life goes on, recession or not.
So your estate plan needs to evolve too. It has to reflect these new realities.
And the Vick Law article, it gives some specific examples of things people should consider, actions they might take.
Yes, it does. And they serve as good examples of what listeners might think about for their own situations. Like, number one, just creating or updating your will to reflect any shifts in assets or, importantly, your priorities. That's fundamental.
Makes perfect sense. Basic blocking and tackling. Keep the documents current with your life.
Right. Then they mention establishing a trust. We touched on this, but specifically for asset protection, maybe avoiding probate, long-term care planning.
Avoiding probate. Remind us why that's beneficial.
Well, probate is the court process for validating a will and settling an estate. It can be time-consuming and costly. Avoiding it, often possible with a trust, means assets can transfer more quickly and privately to your beneficiaries.
Smoother process during a difficult time. Got it.
Exactly. Another crucial point they raise is setting up or reviewing those powers of attorney and healthcare directives.
The someday documents again.
Yep. The key here is avoiding that awful situation where your family has to guess what you would have wanted, especially during a crisis. That adds incredible stress.
Oh, absolutely. Having those directives provides clarity, takes the burden off loved ones.
Prevents potential disagreements, too, when really critical decisions have to be made.
Okay. What else does the article suggest is important now?
Guidance on Medicaid planning. We mention it with trust, but it's a big area.
Especially for families worried about long-term care costs eating up savings, right?
Precisely. Navigating the rules for Medicaid eligibility is, it's complex. Getting professional advice can be really valuable in protecting assets like a home or savings, while still making sure someone qualifies for care if needed.
Good point. And one last specific thing they highlighted
Yes, reviewing beneficiary designations.
on things like 401k, life insurance.
Exactly. Retirement accounts, life insurance policies, sometimes bank accounts.
Why is that so critical? Doesn't the will cover everything?
That's a common misconception. Beneficiary designations on these types of accounts often override what's written in your will.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a huge heads up.
It really is. So you
Okay.
absolutely need to make sure those designations are up to date and align with your overall wishes in your estate plan.
Like if you got divorced and forgot to change the beneficiary on your life insurance.
That could lead to a very unintended and possibly upsetting outcome.
Exact. So it's really about making sure all the different pieces, will, trust, beneficiaries, POA, are all working together harmoniously.
Perfectly put. Working in harmony towards your goals.
And, listening to all this, it actually feels kind of empowering.
How so?
Well, even when the economic news feels gloomy or unsettling, estate planning is one area where our listener, can actually take control, take decisive action.
Yes, it shifts the focus from reactive worry to proactive planning.
Right. It's not about reacting to the market's craziness. It's about proactively shaping your own future, providing real security for your family.
That proactive element is absolutely key. It allows you to ensure that your values, your intentions for the people you care about, that those are what guide the future, not just, the whims of the market or the economy.
It lets you define your legacy based on what truly matters.
Well said. Crafting a legacy based on values.
Now, the Vick Law article, it apparently also points to a CNBC article, something about market volatility and retirement planning.
Yes, it mentions checking that out. It seems the suggestion is just about being aware of the bigger picture.
Understanding the context, maybe?
I think so. Understanding the broader economic environment your plan operates in, without necessarily getting bogged down in the day-to-day market noise or predictions, just context.
Okay. So, wrapping things up then, the main takeaway here seems pretty clear. Even with all this economic uncertainty buzzing around us, taking that proactive step with estate planning gives you a really vital sense of control.
It does.
It's a concrete way to protect your future, protect your loved ones, no matter what economic storms might come.
Precisely. It's about building that strong foundation, one that can actually weather these kinds of storms.
And that leads to, I guess, a final thought for our listeners to maybe chew on.
Okay.
Beyond just the money and the assets, what truly defines your legacy?
That's a deep question.
Yeah. What are the core values? The care for your loved ones, the
Yeah.
things you want to make sure endure. Because putting a plan in place now, regardless of the economic climate, well, that's really the most effective way to ensure those things are upheld.
It translates those values into action, into reality.
So maybe reflect on this. If you couldn't make critical decisions for yourself tomorrow, health, finances, who would you trust implicitly to make them?
Knowing that person and empowering them legally.
Yeah. That's really at the heart of why this planning matters so much, especially right now, to feel more secure. And